Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm Exhibitions, where we're currently watching a best-of-7 show match between Whitera and Dragon. We're doing this every single day. Heart of Swarm Exhibitions, that is Monday through Friday, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. Mondays and Fridays, we got King of the Hill. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we got free-for-all stuff. And Thursdays, we got show matches. Of course, today, Whitera versus Dragon. Going all the way to a Game 7, which we're about to jump into, as Whitera is currently in the lobby, and we're waiting on Dragon to join. There he is. Players ready. Whitera saying go, go. And, oh, I need to make sure Dragon is the correct color, and Whitera is the correct color. And then we can get into Game 7. My co-caster today on Skype is TT1. TT1, thanks again for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure having your insightful commentary.
No problem. It's been a blast.
All right, here we are. Okay, players are ready. There we go. The game countdown has begun. So, Game 7, Mr. TT1. Who do you got? Dragon or Whitera?
Oh, it's a tough call.
The map is Howling Peak.
Yeah, Howling Peak. Howling Peak has been traditionally a very good mech map, just because of how easy it is to defend your natural on your third base. So a lot of Terrans, they just wall off that that site. I don't even know, site choke with supply depots,
Sure.
and they just go back and forth just to defend that. So I don't know if Dragon's gonna go for mech. He's traditionally a very biocentric player, but it would be nice to see him go for mech. But I can't complain, to be honest. Both players have displayed a very high skill level all throughout this series, and they've been playing very creative. They've been integrating a lot of HoTS units. It's not a surprise because they're both very active HoTS players. So I've been entertained, and you know, I want to see if they're just gonna like throw it down this game and say screw it, and go for like what I'm good at. I'm just gonna go like for Wings of Liberty style mass units or something like that, or if like Whiterad's gonna go for one of his Oracle builds. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Now, are you getting ideas for your personal builds in watching this?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm so scared of gas openers, especially after.
I always am, man. That was the same in Wings of Liberty, man.
Yeah, because especially watching Whitera, it seems like he knows something that I don't, because I haven't practiced like at all ever since the patch hit. But Whitera's been opening double gas if he doesn't have the scouting information. So it seems to him that one gas openers in general by Terran are going to be very good against one gate expos. Yeah. So he's playing it very safe. That scares me a little bit because I'm a one gate expo lover. So I don't know if I'm going to be very used to opening like Robo into expo, but.
All right, here's what you do, okay? Do a one gate expo, except put your expo at your opponent's natural.
Yeah.
Photon overcharge, GG.
I remember who did that? I think it was A-Bomb. A-Bomb did that against Whitera one game. It was pretty cute.
I did it like a year ago. So.
Oh, that was the build that we were talking about. I remember now.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did it versus. Did I do it versus Cats? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you brought that up, and then we linked a video of A-Bomb versus Whitera. And we were like, okay, yeah, Axel, you invented this build.
I think I had some better ones, though. But anyway, as far as formal introductions, in the bottom left, we have the red Terran player, Dragon, and his opponent in the top right. The blue Protoss player, Whitera, were tied 3-3. This is the last game of this best of 7. This is it. The winner of this game will take home $100 and be crowned the first champion of Heart of the Swarm Exhibition show match series from MLG. Of course, every Thursday we're lining up show matches. So again, every single day, 5 p.m. Eastern, MajorLeagueGaming.com is your source for awesome Heart of the Swarm StarCraft 2. Of course, coming up after this, we got Rules of Engagement with axslav, which is always a fun little show.
Beautiful play by Dragon. I love it. He's been, because they've been playing for 6 games now, so he has seen the tendencies of Whitera. So he knows that when he opens for gas first, Whitera goes double gas, which delays his expo. So he showed the gas first. He had one SCV in gas, and he's going for a command center first, which is a very, very good build against what Whitera is going to go for. So he's gonna be ahead in econ.
He's also adding on a factory here. So it's still going to be ticking up quite fast. I feel like we've seen this a few times in this series.
I don't think it was this exact build. I think he's just getting the factory so he could be safe against all-ins. I would be surprised if he didn't get a mine, because they're very good against all-ins. And seeing that, did he even scout? Let me check that out real quick. He did see the double gas. So yeah, he did see the double gas. Knowing that there's double gas, there's potentials of oracles, and that's what Whitera has shown all throughout the series. So yeah, he's probably gonna get an oracle, a mine, and keep it in his main base defensively. There we go.
I like it. That's a pretty
Yeah,
cool thing. I feel like that's going to be very standard for Terrans.
I love Dragon's opener this game. He adjusted his build depending on the way that Whitera played the series out, and this is a very optimal build against what Whitera is going for.
Of course, Whitera getting the Nexus a little bit later. Of course, electing to tech up to that Stargate. First Oracle is on the way, and this is actually pretty unique because Dragon hasn't scouted this, and there's no missile turrets anywhere.
Oh, there we go. The mine is going in a defensive posture just so he could snipe oracles. He didn't put out in front of his ramp. Oh, but
where is it?
It's behind his mineral line. It's close to his mineral line.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't see it.
It's at his CC.
Oh,
right
I
now.
see it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving up.
He needs to get that oracle out. Good.
Very close.
Well, at least Dragon knows where the oracle is, so it's gonna be around the bottom side of the map. Whitera is going for the
mineral line.
He's going around the map so he could snipe some SCVs, but
We have
there
a
we
Viking
go.
on the way. I think that Oracle's dead.
Yeah, and Dragon is repositioning his Marines so he could snipe this Oracle. Wow, the Oracle's gonna kill all the Marines though.
Wow.
Yeah, Dragon in this situation, he's gonna get it anyways.
Jeez.
But yeah, the Oracle I think killed
12
7
kills.
Marines.
12 kills in total.
Wow.
Killed 4 workers.
Yeah. He's in a good, beautiful by Whitera. He's going double expo. He saw Dragon's opener. But this is very risky if Dragon goes for like a 1-1-1-esque timing, but with like 3 Araxes instead. So like a bigger army 1-1-1, you know?
Yeah.
He goes for like Marine Tank Banshees, just delays it a little bit more. Because Whitera opened with a triple CC, triple Nexus, so all his tech is going to be delayed. So he's just going to have gate units by the time the 1-1-1 hits. We'll have to see if Dragon goes for that, because historically he just goes for like very macro-oriented builds. So we'll have to see if he adds one more CC or if he's going to throw down some production facilities.
Another Oracle coming forward here from Whitera, up to 5 kills already, up to 6, and then losing its life. So that's 9 workers killed here for Whitera. Income tab shows 43 to 26 in favor of the Protoss player. Of course, Whitera also adding on that third base. We'll have to see if Dragon allows that. But as you said before, starting to position himself a little bit further forward here with these tanks and Marines, also edging that Widow Mine towards that natural expansion location, just in front at that choke point. Nice little position there. So Whitera is going to hope that Dragon does not attack, and I would not be surprised to see Whitera add on a lot of gateways as well.
And Dragon he was floating 800 minerals and he hasn't done anything yet. We'll have to see if he adds a CC or if he opts for mass Raxes. Okay, he goes double gas, so it looks like he's gonna go for a macro build. If he was gonna go for a timing, he would have added the Raxes before getting his gases.
Yeah.
Because Marine Tank Banshee isn't gas intensive. You could do it with 2 gases. So he's probably gonna go for a macro build. Yeah,
right.
Fortunately for Whitera, of course.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, Whitera's at 3 bases, and if Dragon isn't aggressive towards that, Whitera can easily find himself at a pretty significant economic advantage as he starts chrono boosting out those probes out of his Nexi. And he's also adding on Blink, so we'll have to see how aggressive he decides to become with a bunch of Blink Stalkers and Oracles. You can use Oracles to give you high ground vision into the main base and then potentially Blink up in there. I think that'd be a pretty cool utility. Of course, he has to be careful about those siege tanks.
Yeah, and the blink surface is very small on this map.
It is. It really is.
So you have to be very careful. We'll have to. Oh, there we go. I wanted to say, is he gonna go for mech? Because the way his build was playing out, he didn't commit to anything yet. So I was wondering if he was gonna go for mech, and he is gonna go for mech, which is like I pointed out at the start of the game. This is a very good mech map.
All right, we'll see what happens here. Of course, a lot of changes, a decent amount of changes. To mech, you know, incorporating Widow Mines, we'll see how effective that is, and of course, Hellbats, you know, potentially against Zealots and whatnot, very strong indeed. So, you know, this is essentially what Blizzard wanted after that initial patch, of course, wanting. They said in their little explanations or whatever that they wanted to encourage Terrans to go mech more. We'll have to see if Dragon can make this work. But again, the problem might be Whitera has been on 3 bases forever.
Yeah.
And he's teching everywhere too. He's got a Dark Shrine on the way, another Forge on the way. His upgrades are well underway as well. So we'll have to see what Dragon can actually do. He might just play defensive this whole game and just try to build up a really big mech army.
He has to. He can't hit the timing anymore just because of how much Econ Whitera has. The only timing he had is, like I said, in the early game, if he had gone for like a 1-1-1 off of 2 CCs, then he most likely would have won the game. But he didn't punish Whitera for his build, but he didn't have the scouting information either, so it would have been a blind counter. But the follow-up that he did go for is very good for Whitera because his build went unpunished and he has a very big econ lead, especially after the Oracle harass that he did. He invested a lot into the Oracle harass, but he did kill a lot of SCVs as well.
Whitera has pylons all across the map. I mean, if you look at his vision, there's nothing. Excuse me. There's nothing he doesn't see. Even adding on a 4th base here, which is again is very good against mech. Generally, mech is going to be very slow, so adding on more and more bases is generally a good idea. Getting your econ way up and just relying on just a massive amount of units to break your mech opponent if they ever decide to push out. Also adding a high Templar archives, and Dragon's got to start thinking about taking that 3rd base.
Yeah, Dragon is starting to fall more and more behind in this game. Whitera, he realized what position he was. Did he see the 3rd CC? He did not see the 3rd CC. But yeah, Dragon can't do a timing off of 2 bases with mech. So Whitera knows this. He knows that he has to turtle up.
He scanned his opponent's 3rd, by the way.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, by now Whitera should have a 3rd anyways. The problem was that he didn't know how fast he got it.
Right.
Whitera went like double expo right away, which is a very Brewer-esque build. But yeah, Whitera knows that Dragon is going for mech, so there's no timing that he can hit. So this is the period of time where he has to eco up. And he got his 4th base up really fast. Is he getting Stargates? Okay, no. I wanted to see if he was going to go for Void Rays or Tempest.
Ooh, yeah, Tempest really good against mech, I think.
Yeah,
except the point defense drone though kind of shuts that down to some extent.
Yeah, it does. It does. He got a Templar Archive, right? Yeah. So he's probably going to go for like a big Gateway Immortal Archon style. And then just outmine his opponent, and he's just gonna shove units down Dragon's throat non-stop, just because of his econ advantage.
He needs some tanks over here to defend this wall off. Oracle's coming forward here to try to get some damage done, but here comes the army from Dragon, melting away the Oracles with his Marines. A little bit of an overextension perhaps here from Whitera, but able to take down a supply depot. The engineering bay getting low in health, needs to repair that with SCVs. I think he should be able to.
Whitera just suicided like 5 Oracles for nothing, so. Yeah. But he still has a pretty big econ lead. Oh, is Dragon is he gonna go for timing right here?
The engineering bay is definitely gonna die, and he might. He's actually extending across the map here.
Very nice. Oh, looking at Whitera's army, that's pretty. It's a pretty intimidating army. But yeah,
2 tanks in production from Dragon here.
Oh, and Whitera has the Blink Stalkers at his natural, so Dragon has to do damage here.
I think it's almost guaranteed. A huge army here from Dragon. We got Hellbats, tanks, Ravens, Vikings, Marines.
The mines are AFK.
Widow mines. And Whitera going to try to swing around. Doesn't want to engage this. And Hunter Seeker missiles going on Archons and Zealots here, trying to get that damage done. But Whitera just going to swing on by, and we're going to have a bit of a base trade here. Whitera actually deciding to turn around with his main army, but there's Widow mines in the back.
Yeah, Whitera has this. His army is huge. That's a pretty big supply lead, and he's sitting on 2k bank. Yeah, and he hit right when Dragon was on siege, so that's very unfortunate for him.
Dragon unable to get that siege up, and keep in mind Whitera can just warp in more and more units here, and Dragon is in a lot of trouble trying to make it work with his tanks and Ravens that remain. Also landing his Vikings here. Photon overcharge going down on the Nexus. More Zealots being warped in, but siege mode is done. But that's a lot of charge loss. They can probably chew through this tank force pretty quickly here. They are upgraded at 1-2 in favor of the weapons. And there's the GG from Dragon, and Whitera is your victor. He takes the best of 7. Very impressive play. Of course, he started down 2-0. Was able to even it up at 2-2. Dragon took a game, but then Whitera, actually, I think Whitera won 3 in a row, and then Dragon took a game, and then Whitera won the last one. Very inspiring play there from Whitera. What was the biggest story of that last game?
Well, like we said, Whitera went for triple Nexus, and he didn't get punished for it. It was a greedy build, but Dragon didn't have the scouting information, so he played it safe, which was the correct option. And right when Whitera suicided his Oracles, I felt like the counterattack was good, but I felt like he should have pushed the Blink Stalkers away a little bit. Yeah. So he could have reinforced his army. I think the biggest problem was that the Blink Stalkers, they got into the production facility, and then he couldn't reinforce his army, and Whitera had a huge econ, so he just kept on reinforcing his army, and eventually he killed the dragon's army. But I felt like if he pushed the Blink Stalkers a bit back, like if he chased them with his tanks and then he went for the timing, I think he would have been in a decent position. It's hard to say if he would have won the game, but his attack would have been much more efficient than what it was.
Yeah, it was a great game there from Whitera. Great series from both players. Very impressive play, showing that they're the innovators of Heart of the Swarm. They're coming up with all these new strategies and showing them to us. Again, it takes a lot to play Heart of the Swarm right after a patch hits. So it's really cool to see the level of play that we were able to there in that best of 7. So once again, congratulations to Whitera. And once again, thank you to you, TT1. Why don't you go ahead and let us know where people can find you, what you got coming up?
I don't have anything coming up. I'm just practicing. Awaiting all the HoTS tournaments. If they would like to follow me, you could follow me on Twitter at root_TT1. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you once again. Pi, always a pleasure to be hearing your analysis and commentary. I know everyone probably enjoyed that, of course. My name is axeltoss, guys. You've been watching a Heart of the Swarm show match between Whitera and Dragon. Once again, congratulations to Whitera for taking it down 4-3 every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. We have Heart of the Swarm going on, and if you want to participate, go to channel MLG, and we will try to get you involved. Lots of community stuff coming up as well. So stay tuned to MajorLeagueGaming.com. Coming up next, we got Rules of Engagement with axslav in about 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere.